Hey guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and today I'm doing Comic Uno episode 105, and this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show, and I go to worst pick of the week to best pick of the week, and let's start. I know last week I didn't have a show because I was at Comic-Con, so I skipped reviews for that week, but I am totally back, and let's start with number 15. Number 15 is Siege, issue 1. This is my worst pick of the week. I was pretty disappointed with this, because I was excited for Siege. After reading Secret Wars Journal issue 1, you had that awesome Lady Kate Bishop story. I'm like, whoa, I'm actually pretty excited, because it ends on, if you want more Lady Kate, read Siege issue 1. And, you know, I read the book, and there wasn't a lot of Lady Kate. It's more about Abigail, and she's not really defined here, though. It's mostly like, alright, hey, I'm kind of a badass a little bit. I try to be a rebel, and because I was being a rebel, I have to defend this wall, and if I don't, bad things are gonna happen. People will die, and she tries to defend the wall the whole entire issue, and it was a bit boring. And also, the artwork was very bland. There's not a lot of detail, even in a big page like that. Just not a lot of detail. Just like showing this wall. The eyes on some of the people are very separated. The proportions could be a bit better. Like this is a good example. Kate has a very big forehead in that panel. So yeah, the art could have been a lot better, and the story was just really bland, kind of forgettable. I don't think I'll remember this next week, honestly. So yeah, I'm probably not going to get issue 2, which is a shame, because again, I want to see more Lady Kate, but I think supposedly after Secret Wars, she's going to be in the Hawkeye series. So yeah, Siege issue 1 is number 15, and that gets 2 stars. Moving on to number 14, which is Fathom Blue, issue 2, which is disappointing because I really enjoyed issue 1. I remember it was close to top 5. But this issue, the artwork is a bit sloppy. I wish I had the issue with me, but I don't. It's a bit sketchy. The background details, there aren't a lot of details. The background art, when a character is far away, you don't really get to see their face that much. So that's a disappointment. Also, there's a character that has big muscles and a very small head. So yeah, the artwork could have been a bit better. And the story was okay. It's about a group of Fathom Blue people that are kidnapped, and they try to capture this other Blue and bring her to the government and try to trick her. The reason I enjoyed issue 1 so much is I like the idea of fish out of water, pun intended. You know, seeing this girl who's a Blue, who's actually going against the Blue as a lawyer and saying, you know, these Blue people are disgusting. She ends up being one. I think that's a really interesting story, you know, seeing them as normal people and then seeing them as Blue. And I feel like this story is going to focus so much on the government and this other girl. Like, you're pulling us out of what was so interesting about issue 1. So I'll still pick up the series. I want to see where it goes, but I was less impressed with this issue. So I give issue 2 2.5 stars. That was number 14. Moving on to number 13, which is Captain Britain and the Mighty Defenders, issue 1. So this is number 13. I kind of got this randomly. I wasn't really expecting to get this issue at first, but I got it because, you know, Rescue is on the cover. I'm like, maybe it's Pepper Potts, and it ends up not being Pepper Potts. And this issue is about this kind of random girl, which you see in the middle. She has a sword. She's from Britain. She's Captain Britain. And she wants to be a rebel. She says, hey, Doom is not God. And She-Hulk is starting to learn, yeah, maybe Doom's not God. Let's, like, kind of go against him. And Doom overhears her, so takes away her mantle, which she's like a Thor with her gavel. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, you know, they're on the run, you know, and we've seen this with all the other Secret Wars books. I feel like there wasn't anything that new brought to the table to this book. Also, the artwork was a bit on the blander side. I didn't really pop for me, so I didn't love the art. It's not bad, but it just didn't really pop. So yeah, I just thought this was an average book. There wasn't enough for me to kind of say, oh yeah, I'll definitely be getting Captain Britain and the Mighty Defenders next week. There just wasn't enough here. So yeah, this gets 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't a bad issue, but there's so many Secret Wars books out there. You know, I'm going to probably have to drop that one. Alright, moving on to number 12. which is Postal, issue 5. This is a little lower than what the series is usually at. I've actually been really enjoying this series. I think it's been a surprise series from Image. I have not heard anyone really talk about, but I've personally been liking it. I like the horror aspect. I love the artwork for the series, but this issue is a bit lackluster because it kind of goes to another area of the story. You get to see these cult type people try to kidnap our main character, and he learns that he's more like his father than he thought he was, and you see that he doesn't really have feelings and that he could become a big monster because of it. And it's also a theme of love, that he wants to find love, and that's the issue. I just thought we've seen better with Postal, a lot of more twisted turns with the series, but this issue I wasn't really interested in the cult. I guess I was interested in more like how this character has changed in only 5 issues, and the potential of kind of an innocent character becoming bad and not caring about people. I think that's an interesting aspect, and I'm excited for that portion of the story to continue, but didn't really care about the cult and the other characters that were introduced with this issue. So Postal issue 5 gets 3.5 stars. Still beautiful artwork though. Alright, moving on to number 11, which was Superman Wonder Woman issue 19. Another issue that was actually my top 5 last month when it came out, and I really enjoyed it because the whole Lana story, like she's missing, and I like the idea of Superman and Wonder Woman's relationship, how Wonder Woman wasn't jealous of Lana and really just wants to help Clark go through his hard time. Now this issue is mostly a battle. It's them against the Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman having to protect Clark, and Clark saying, no, don't protect me, save yourself. And Wonder Woman's like, hey, you might get even weaker, so I have to help you. So if you're a fan of their relationship, if you like the romance side, I think this issue is for you. If you like action, this issue is for you. But if you want more of the progression of the Lana story and the main story, this might not be the issue for you, and that's why I, like this issue a little less. Still beautiful artwork, good action. I just thought there wasn't a lot happening in this issue. It's just mostly on the Superman-Wonder Woman relationship and more of his status quo. But yeah, I'm more excited for the other story to continue. So Superman Wonder Woman issue 19 gets 3.5 stars. Alright, now we're up to number 10, which is Martian Manhunter, issue 2, a bit lower also. This book has so much potential, and the stories told here are actually really interesting. We get to see this kind of thief person, Arabian thief. She's running away, and Martian Manhunter is talking in her brain, and you're wondering, like, is she special, is she not? So that's one story. Another story is Martian Manhunter kind of wanting to destroy himself because he's been lied to all his life. So he's trying to fight the Justice League because Justice League's in his way. And then also the past story of him, looking for biscuits and, connecting to this little girl. So there's 3 stories going on, and they're all good, like I said. So why is it so low? Is I felt like they're all jumbled. They're all told in different areas of the book, and I didn't think it flowed right. As much as I like the stories, I'm like, well, how does that connect to that? Who the hell is this Arabian thief? How does that connect to that? And it's not in a mystery way either, just like kind of a confusing structure way. So I think the story's there. I just think the structure could be a bit better for the issue. And the artwork's there too. So it has a lot of potential, this book, but this issue just needed to be structured a little bit better. So Martian Manhunter issue 2 gets 3.5 stars. Alright, so I think I'm on number 8. No, issue 9, number 9, which is Black Canary, issue 2. I thought this was a bit of an improvement from the last issue. Last issue was still good. Again, it's very acquired taste. If you like the punk rocky thing going on, it's very punk rock. But I like this issue. It continues this this journey of her, Dinah and her bandmates kind of connecting a bit more. Dinah teaching them to fight. And I think that's a lot of fun because they're like, why do we need to learn this? Why are we not just like kind of rocking out? Like, who the hell is Dinah really? What's her past? And then her past catches up with her in the end where her husband ends up showing up, or, a version of her husband. Because I haven't read Birds of Prey in a long time. But I'm pretty sure he was dead and then came back to life from what I remember of Birds of Prey. Again, I didn't really read the New 52 version that much, but I like the idea of, Dinah having this mysterious past to her band members and her opening up slowly to her band members. I kind of like this friendship that's being made here. It's still very different, and, the artwork's very different, so that's why it's a bit harder to get into this book and why it's a bit, in the middle of the list, but, still a good issue. I thought this was an improvement of the first issue, and I'm still interested. There's still something grabbing me to say, hey, Kat, buy the next issue. So Black Canary issue 2, again, acquired taste, not everyone's gonna like it, but I thought it was a pretty good issue, so I give it 3.5 stars. Alright, so what was number 8? That is Captain Marvel and the Carol Corps. Yes, so I really enjoyed issue 1. I thought it was something really different for Secret Wars, and issue 2 is the same. It's Carol trying to figure out how to escape this world without everyone finding out, and if she wants to escape this world, and her team, her Corps, trying to figure out a way too, and they want to rush it, and Carol's like trying to think smart, trying to be, part of the military and, have a strategy, and her team doesn't really want that, and because they don't, people get hurt by the end of the issue. So, I like this issue a lot. Artwork is really good. I think it fits the story really well. It fits kind of this military type story they're telling. So enjoyed that. I really like this scene too, where we get to see the chess talk, where it's like, oh, well, what is the rules of life? What's the rules of chess? It's some of my favorite scenes. It's used so often in stories, but I still love those chess scenes. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I thought this was a very solid issue, and I think this has been a really solid Secret Wars book, and, something different. So Captain Marvel and Carol Corps gets 4 stars, and that was number 8. Moving on to number 7, which is Justice League, issue 42. Very solid story. Jeff Johns definitely knows how to do an interesting story arc. So in this issue, you just build up tension of who your villains are. We have the mother of Darkseid's daughter. You have Darkseid's daughter herself, Darkseid, building up these villains and their purposes and exactly their motives, and then the Justice League just being confused as hell and was like, what do we do here? And in the end, we get to see that the Justice League find this chair to, know the future. Batman ends up sitting on it and asks who's the identity of the Joker and finds out who it is. But now Batman's God, so that was a fun ending. And the artwork is just beautiful, action is good, very solid issue. Which I think gets me more interested in Darkseid War. It gives us a little bit more information on the war itself. It's a building up issue, definitely. Not too much happens besides that cliffhanger, but it builds up that tension of Darkseid and the villains, which I think is important because that final battle will be more important then. So Justice League issue 42 gets 4 stars. I thought it was a very solid issue with beautiful artwork, and that's number 7. All right, moving on to number 6. Which is, finally, this issue's out. It took, a year for this to come out? Hawkeye, issue 22. When did issue 21 come out? I think this book has been delayed as hell. I know this book has been delayed as hell. But yeah, this issue is the finale of, finally, Matt Fraction and David Aja's run. And it's defeating the bros. That's what it's all about. And Kate and Clint teaming up to defeat the bros, and by the end, them still being a team. And then you get this cliffhanger where Kate's Bishop's father might want to kill Kate and Clint because they're Avengers. I'm like, why would you end the run that way? That could have been such an interesting story. So let's just talk about that cliffhanger for a second, because I did not do an in-depth review on this, but that was so upsetting, because, not complaint, but one thing I feel Marvel hasn't really done is really dig into Kate and her family. I feel like her family's so interesting, because they're rich, and she was kind of pampered, and then she just became this Robin Hood type character, and they've never really explored that, the reasons why she does it, and how her family reacts to that, and finally we have her father reacting to it, and we're not even going to see that story continue, and I was so upset about that, but it's a really good cliffhanger, but not to a finale of the story. So that was disappointing. Hopefully Lemire picks up the pieces there, and we actually see Kate's family a bit more, but That's something I hope. But the artwork is beautiful. The action was really good. And, you know, something I loved about Hawkeye, and I think a lot of people loved about Hawkeye, is that it wasn't just about Clint. It was about Kate. It wasn't just about Kate. It was about Clint. And, you know, their friendship. And that they both share the same name. So, yeah, I thought this was a really fun book. It was a very solid issue. And I give it 4 stars. You know, the reason it didn't make top 5 is because, first of all, it was delayed as hell. You know, it took a long time to get it. And also that cliffhanger. As much as I liked it, I kind of dislike it because you don't know you'll never know what happens. And I don't like cliffhangers like that. It's not a guessing game either. It's literally like, hey, we're setting up for another story arc. Oh, wait, we're not having one. So that's why I did make number 6, but I still really enjoyed the issue. And I still totally recommend this run if you haven't read it yet. That's number 6. So moving on to number 5. Number 5 is Invincible, issue 121. You know, this is a great series. It's literally one of my favorite series out there. And this issue doesn't really focus on Adam, Eve, and Mark. It focuses on Monster Girl and Robot. And we get to see, you know, Monster Girl's still alive, so that's good. We haven't really seen that. And her connecting to her son, trying to run away from Robot and defeat him. And then seeing that Robot's very manipulative, which we already know. So half her team goes to Robot. And Robot's like, hey, you want to be on my team? And Monster Girl's like, hell no, after everything you did to me. You almost killed me. And I reread some of the issues with her son just recently. And also, you made me not be with my son all these years, and you knew about him. So, there's a lot of tension there. I love Monster Girl as a character. I think she's so interesting, especially the son arc, because she's a father, and, you know, she's also kind of a mother, but she's a father to this kind of alien creature, which I think is totally interesting, and, you know, it's because of her monster form. So many interesting stories there. And also all the years she lived on another planet, and then her relationship with Robot, who's the true villain of Invincible. You've never thought that in the beginning of the series, but he is, and he's this dictator. He wants to shape the world in his own way, and it doesn't matter who he kills along the way. He almost killed Monster Girl, but she ended up surviving. So I really love that ending, and then also getting to see more time with her son. I thought was really interesting. You know, her son kind of forgiving her and saying, you know, Father, I understand why you were manipulated by him. You know, I'm sorry. You know, there's a really good heart-to-heart there that we haven't had a chance to see, because, you know, Invincible is very good at, you know, spending a long time on different arcs, and, you know, 20 issues, you might not have that Monster Girl story until 20 issues later. So they're good at spreading out their stories, is what I'm trying to say. And when, you know, I don't know when this whole Monster Girl story will be resolved, because I feel like it's more of a side story, and we'll go back to Adam, Eve, and Mark. But I like the small moments we get here. So this is a very solid issue. Yeah, so it definitely progresses the story a lot more with their relationship, at least. So Invincible issue 121 gets 4 stars for me. Alright, so number 4 is AntMan Annual, issue 1. You know, I enjoyed this issue. One thing I'll say that I didn't enjoy just off the bat is the villain wasn't that interesting, and they try to introduce like this new Ant-Man towards the end, that there will be 2 Ant-Man still, but so they try to introduce another Ant-Man from that previous story, because there's 2 stories, and I dropped my book, one from the past and one that is the present. And it's about, you know, Scott and Hank's relationship, and, you know, why Hank gave the costume to Scott in the first place, and it's reasons that you wouldn't think. And then you go to the present time where Wasp says, oh, well, you're in Hank's will. You know, he's dead for now. He's probably not dead forever, but he gets the laboratory from Hank. So it actually shows that Hank cared for Scott more than you thought. So I thought it was a really good friendship issue, and learning a little bit about, you know, about them, and a little bit more about their friendship and their legacy, I guess. And then the ending was interesting too. They want another Ant-Man, but again, the weaker part of the issue is this Eggman guy. Like, I understand Nick Spencer wants to use seedless villains. He's known for it. But I don't know if it worked here. But, you know, obviously it's more of a shell to highlight Hank and Scott, so that was okay. And the artwork is beautiful for the series too. And I'm just such a sucker for the Scott Lang book and Scott Lang in general. So yeah, AntMan issue 1 annual gets 4 stars. That was a solid issue, and that is number 4. Alright, moving on to number 3, which is Silver Surfer issue 13. Now this series has been really surprising me lately. I've been loving Silver Surfer. I think issue 12 is also my top 5. I love the artwork and how inventive this book is. Like, look at this. It's them going in time streams. It's very cool here. So I love that. And, you know, something I love about Dan Slott's writing here, obviously it's very Doctor Who-like, but it's Dawn and Norrin's relationship and how that's been building over the years. And now the world literally crumbling around them and how they react to that. If they're able to save the world or not. And I think Allred's artwork just highlights that even more, this emotion of the world crumbling around them and them not being able to do anything but having to escape. And one of my favorite parts of this issue has to be in I guess the middle of the issue where Dawn sees her future self and her future self lies to her. So they lie to each other in a way. But you know, her future self lies to her. It says, "Oh, tell Norrin to look right. You know, everything will be okay." And just like, oh, I hate that I lied to even myself and saying that everything's gonna be okay, because it won't. And I thought that was such a really great moment. I think this book is so creative. And some of Dan Slott's best work is Silver Surfer. So yeah, Silver Surfer issue 13. Really, really good issue. And if you're enjoying Secret Wars, I thought this was a really good addition to Secret Wars and a story we haven't seen told for Secret Wars. So Silver Surfer issue 13 gets 4 stars. Alright, number 2 is Revival issue 31. Yeah, this is a creepy cover here. But I really enjoyed this issue and I love this series. It's one of my favorites. And we get to see M's pregnant. She's still pregnant. She's crazy. She's crazy in this issue because she wants to get Blaine. Blaine, you know, killed her friend, May, who's the reporter, and she's looking for revenge, and she doesn't really care, you know, how she gets it. Then also her sister and her father, you know, trying to figure out the whole entire thing to do with the revivals at this point, because you had that terrorist attack with them, the bomb, not terrorist attack, but that bomb that happened in the couple of issues before with the revivals or the revivers. So you're figuring out more exactly who these revivers are, and then you have your main character who is a reviver, and you're seeing her personality change so much in just these 31 issues. So yeah, and it is an interesting issue because by the end you get to see that M will do anything to kill this person, and we get to see Dana literally look at M's face like, oh shit, she's gonna kill this guy, and she's like, well, M, stop, or I'm gonna shoot you. And obviously Dana knows that nothing's really gonna happen if she shoots M, but hey, it's getting to that point that she, you know, sister against sister. But yeah, I really love this story. I love the idea of the revivers, and for someone that I love character development stuff, so to see how M's character has changed so much, and the artwork for the story showing the crazy eyes, you know, exactly what she will do to get revenge, you know, it's really interesting. I wish there was word bubbles, you know, narration of what she's thinking in her mind, because I feel like every issue she just gets crazier and crazier, and the Reviver story gets more interesting and more interesting. And another really haunting page is this page, because again, M is pregnant, which we still don't understand how that's, you know, happening, because she's dead. She's just like kicking ass with these people who are trying to go against her, who's part of Blaine's crew. And she's like, oh, you know, I feel hurt. Oh no. It's like, my baby just kicked. And she just like has this creepy face. But yeah, it's a creepy story and it's great. So yeah, there's a lot of great moments here. And I'm glad that Dana and Em are going to be interacting again, because it's been a while. It's definitely been separated for the past, I would say, 15 issues. And now they're coming back together, and they're two completely different people. So yeah, issue 31, 4 stars. Really good issue. Alright, so what was number 1? Years of Future Past, issue 3. I love this issue. As a Kitty Pryde fan, I thought this was so well done, with a lot of twists and turns. First of all, you get to see Giant Lockheed, which is really cool. And Giant Lockheed, he's in action, but he falls, and almost falls on Cameron. And we find out that Cameron is Kitty's son, and not Wolverine's son, thank God, but Colossus and Kitty's son. And you find out that they were separated at birth, Chrissy and Cameron, for different reasons. And you know, Chrissy and Cameron are still, like, wrapping their head around that they're 14 years old, 15 years old, and they have the weight of the world literally on them, you know, and figuring out what to do with that, you know. They're mutants, they're the last mutants, the youngest mutants, well, obviously makes sense because they're children of the youngest mutant, Kitty Pryde, and they're confused, you know, they were separated at birth, and they don't understand, you know, why their parents would do that, and they're kind of discovering this new relationship of siblings, and then they find out that their mutant kind is being, you know, hunted, and they go into action, and it was a trap in the end. So they might end up in the same place they were, in a concentration camp or a containment camp. So yeah, you know, this is a really interesting issue. I really enjoyed it. The artwork was beautiful. The twists and turns are great, and also as a Kitty Pryde fan, I really enjoyed, I think, Chrissy and Cameron as characters, because you really see Kitty in both of them, and I think Kitty has developed into different characters, you know, throughout the years, and you see Chrissy's ambition, which is very much like Kitty, and then Cameron, I feel like more of her ninja side is in Cameron, and I guess more of her, what she's learned from Wolverine is in Cameron also. But yeah, it's a really cool issue, and also I love seeing Nightcrawler, because I think Nightcrawler is really important to Kitty's past also, because she was scared of Nightcrawler at first, and then they became really good friends, and I love that he says, oh, I'm not going to call you Kate, you're Kitty to me. So that was really good, because, like, yes, you are Kitty. I don't like that her name's Kate either, but it's going back to the Days of Future Past storyline. But yeah, a lot of great twists and turns, a really good story, and if you're a Kitty Pryde fan, I think this is a must-read. Really enjoyed it. So I gave that 4.5 stars. That is my pick of the week. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, in the description below, there's links for my comic book, like Father Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page for Like Father Like Daughter. And let me know in the comments below, what was your worst pick of the week, your best pick of the week, and everything in between. I'll see you guys later. Bye.